Ivar BT asks, can you name the best and worst thing about your own country? I think the best thing about the United Kingdom is our national sense of fair play. This idea of fairness is a very important part of the British mindset, and it quite often means that we'll root for the underdog rather than the one who's more likely to win. And I like that such a noble sentiment is part of our national character. The worst thing about my country has got to be the fucking climate. And it's why we're a seafaring nation. Don't let any historian tell you that the British are a seafaring nation because of trade. No. It's because we're an island, and until the advent of manned flight, the only way to get away from this bloody awful weather was by sea. Kazelli asks, if you were the last man on Earth, or rather if you were tasked with being the last man on Earth, and you could choose to select 3 ladies with which to repopulate the species, would you choose to procreate, and who would the ladies be? Additionally, your bonus for briefly switching teams for humanity's sake would be that you could now choose 3 men to join your ranks. Who would the gents be? This question actually became more and more difficult to answer the more I thought about it, because first off I thought, I obviously would want to choose to continue the species. I think we have great potential, and as long as the women who are going to be doing that with me were fairly decent people and not the likes of Anne Coulter, and providing that this cataclysm that wiped out humanity allowed at least one turkey baster to survive, I don't think it really mattered that much who they were. And then I started thinking about all of my family and friends just being gone, and which of those I would pick to survive, if any. And it seemed to me that that question's awful, like that pivotal scene in Sophie's Choice. If I made the choice, the guilt would be pretty much impossible to live with. If I had to choose 3 men, then one of them would of course be my partner, but for the others, again, I really don't know. I'm not sure if I could choose, and I think I probably just overthought that question. Subfighter asks, what is the question you would like to be asked, but no one has asked it? And that took me a while as well, but I thought that my question would be, if you had to recommend 3 books that everyone should read in their lifetime, what would they be? Chris3325 has got 3 questions. The first of these is, do you think that homophobia really has a root in people being confused about their own sexuality? No, I don't. I lay the blame for homophobia squarely on the shoulders of the Abrahamic religions. One of the fundamental concepts of these religions is that they identify homosexuality as being wrong. And since their pretty appalling morality has been enshrined in our culture, our societies also have a pretty negative take on homosexuality. I think that if people weren't worried that there was something wrong with them, if they felt they were attracted to somebody of the same sex, then there wouldn't be any confusion. As it is, people are indoctrinated with the idea that being gay is wrong, and then when they have these homosexual feelings, they often feel at first confused, then frightened, and then angry. And these conflicted feelings that give rise to the homophobia are a symptom and not a cause. I think the root cause is what made them think their natural orientation was wrong in the first place. Question number 2 is, do you find it ironic that the most deviant pornography is usually straight, while at the same time straights always yell about how deviant gay sex is? Well, I'm not sure how true the statement in that question actually is, and I don't really care whether people consider my sex life to be deviant. I'm not harming anybody else, and therefore I don't see that it's anybody else's business what I do in the bedroom unless I'm inviting them in some way to participate. The only sex that I consider to be deviant is non-consensual sex. The third question is, what do you think of gay YouTube celebs like What the Bok and Chris Crocker? I think that if some people find them entertaining, and these people have found their niche, then well done for them and good luck. One of the things that really pisses me off is that you get some gay men and lesbians coming out with crap like, these people are stereotypes that give us all a bad name. Not all lesbians are diesel-powered dykes, and not all gay men are screaming Nancy boys. And whilst that's true, some gay people are like the stereotype. And the point to bear in mind is that there's nothing wrong with that. A butch woman or a camp man has as much right to be true to themselves as a lipstick lesbian or a macho gay man. So, what the heck are we fighting for if it isn't equality and to be respected for who we are? And if that's the case, it's vital that we fight for everybody's rights, not just the rights of those people who we somehow approve of. Otherwise, we're just as guilty of bigotry. Interim head coach asks, in your time on YouTube, what's the single most infuriatingly stupid thing you've heard somebody come out with, either in a comment or on camera? In that part of middle age where just about everything pisses me off, young people, old people, people who talk too much, people who don't talk enough, the list is pretty exhaustive, but I will try and narrow it down a bit. I see a lot of creationist crap here that's pretty irritating, and I've also seen these anti-feminists who want to convince me that feminism isn't about stopping the oppression of women, but it's actually about starting the oppression of men. But I think the one thing that really made me just shake my head in disbelief and in horror was a few months ago when we had a rash of Holocaust deniers putting forth their views. These were people who were denying that the Holocaust had actually happened by coming up with all sorts of conspiracy theories and so-called evidence. And I really couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing. This creationism and, did we land on the moon, or 9/11 was an inside job, or Princess Diana was killed by the royals, or Kennedy was shot by Christmas elves. All these conspiracy theorists, I can see those as being misguided or misinformed or just plain stupid. But there's something about these people who deny the Holocaust that strikes me as being more than stupid. It's really quite evil, and I can't explain why it is that I feel this way, because I don't really understand myself. It's purely an emotional reaction. But I think that's got to be my answer to that question, the Holocaust deniers. I just want to grab these people by the shoulders and shake some sense into them. Justin FH 2.0 asks, what programs do you use for your animations? I use Photo Impact for image manipulation and Carrara 5 Pro for the 3D animations. Red Furry Monster asks, what do you do with your free time prior to YouTube, and what will you do after? I read more and I played more video games, so I'm not missing out on social interaction, and in fact I think I'm probably getting more interaction with other people from my time on YouTube than I did before. As for after YouTube, I doubt that YouTube will ever end. Finally, I received a question in a video response from William Cardno, and in this video he explained to me that it was videos like mine on YouTube that gave him the resolve and the motive to come out as gay last summer. And his question was, how does it feel knowing that I had affected his life in that way from a distant part of the world? And William, the only thing I can say is that it feels good. It feels good to know that something that I've said or done has in some way perhaps helped somebody else, and that it's made somebody else's life a little bit better. And I feel happy for you. So good for you, and well done. Yeah, it feels good.